I'm Khadija Khan. I'm a senior research specialist within the Developmental, Capable and Ethical States Research Unit in the Human Sciences Research Council, HSRC. My research focus has been around the protection, welfare and promotion and well-being of vulnerable groups, particularly children and adolescents. And so my area of focus has been violence against children, and filicide falls within that research area. So the work that we've been doing, I have to recognize that filicide has been an under-researched area and a gap that we've identified. And so we started off with a desktop review on filicide, and now recently we've done analysis of media reports of cases of filicide in South Africa. Filicides is the deliberate killing of children by their parents. And this can be either biological parents or step-parents, and it refers to children newborn and up to 18 years old. There hasn't been a lot of research on filicide, and so obtaining accurate information about filicide is quite difficult given the sensitive nature of the topic, as well as underreporting and then the research staff. So we found that biological mothers were more likely to kill their own children, and they were much younger compared to biological fathers. Particularly, mothers were aged 35 to 40-year-old. So the media analysis also showed an important factor to look at, which is the relationship status, the parents' relationship status, as we found proportions of unmarried parents perpetrating filicide, and then also separated parents in the context of life partnerships. What is alarming is that within the cases that we've analyzed, most of the cases we found that it was common for several children to be killed in one filicide incident, particularly between 2 to 5 children in one incident, and the rate of survival of most of the children is quite slim. And so the last points that I want to highlight is actually around the characterization or the perpetration of filicide, and this is looking at the modes of killing. And so we looked at the types of killings, and the top 3 we found was poisoning, followed by strangulation and suffocation. This could be by bare hands or using a bed sheet or a rope or something. And then also the third one was assault, which is either with a blunt object or a sharp object. And then just going back to parental relationship status, we did find that parental relationship status or the dissolution of a relationship was a triggering factor for filicide, as we found that revenge filicide was a big component. So parents would kill their children because they felt betrayed. We look at the Children's Act, which stipulates that parents that have parental disputes or custody disputes can actually access the Office of the Family Advocate, and so that is quite a good policy that can protect or prevent. The second policy is also related to the mediation of families. This act has recently been found to be unconstitutional. In July this year, there was a case of recognizing that this law actually only protects children of married couples, and so Parliament's been given 24 months to amend the policy, and so that is something promising to actually include unmarried couples. The final one is the law that speaks to the mode of killing, which is the Fertilizers, Farm Feeds, Seeds and Remedies Act of the 1947. And I think that one is important in regulating the control of informal pesticides, which is the common pesticides that has been used for killing the children. And so this one, I think, is really helpful to prohibit the sale of these pesticides on streets. I would consider Department of Social Development and Department of Justice to raise awareness about the services that the Office of the Family Advocate are providing, particularly to unmarried couples, because there is the impression that it's only for married couples. The second component is actually to empower the beneficiaries to understand that they can access these services and to know how to access these services, because there is some deterrence around accessing court and legal systems. So that would be on a beneficiary level. On a service level, we found that there are some gaps in the Children's Act pertaining to parental disputes. So when there's not consensus raised on a parenting plan, there's no guidelines on how that should play out. So a suggestion would be some guideline on what are the next steps if families or parents can't reach a consensus. And so, because I think that's the root of where some of the revenge filicide comes through. Then the final thing is around the poisoning, and the long-term recommendation would be for a shift to use or to find low toxic alternatives that are still affordable and effective, because these are the low-income communities that are accessing these poisons. But in the interim or short term would be for an updated version of the policy to regulate the informal sector a little bit better, where sellers have to be registered and licensed, and also to document the process of purchasing these pesticides so that we can identify people using it or buying it and the intended use for it. And I think that would help us in a sense to understand or to address some of these issues, especially in cases where it has to be investigated. I spoke about the desktop analysis that is available on the HSRC's website currently. The media analysis is currently still being finalized, which will either be in the form of a journal article, and then there is a policy brief that is coming out soon. Alternatively, contact me for further information.